Toastmaster Priyanshi.
Started with this, or I'd rather say this. And if I may read it, it says, showcase meeting, 4:30 p.m., Tanodi. I very well remember as a fresher how intrigued I was the day I heard about the name Toastmasters. And I also remember when I picked up this very bookmark back at Society Fair, I had this gut feeling, that I will use this somewhere very important. And that somewhere will be, and that important day will be when I become a Toastmaster and when I give my first speech. Greetings, Toastmasters and guests. My name is Priyanshi Kharbanda, and today I will be taking you to a place which I have felt is somewhere that I have always belonged, somewhere where I have always imagined myself at. Ladies and gentlemen, I was amongst all of you as I sat in the very audience, and I've seen these beautiful speakers come and go on this very stage while they broke the ice between themselves and the audience, telling all about what an adventure life has served to each one of them. However, I always used to wonder, what have I got to narrate myself? Well, coming from a very wholesome yet a super achieving family, my relation with my parents have been like Cadbury crackle, a little bit of a munching and crunching here and there. However, it was sweet and pleasant overall. Found a brother, yet technically he found me after 4 years of his peaceful existence. And growing up with him made me realize as to not only am I having him as a brother in my life, but also as my partner in crime. And just like any teenager, made dozens of friends. And every friend took me to a new learning curve as every school grade passed by. But here comes this question again, which I as a speaker, you as an audience still cannot steer right. And that question is, what new could I have potentially come up with which can make me very well hold each one of your attention for the next 5 whole minutes? Well, that would be the way I see the world, the way I see my life and my world of theory, ladies and gentlemen. You see, as being a science student, which all of us are, we must have come upon this, I guess, concept in physics at least once in a point of our lives. And our concept is the hysteresis of magnetism. Ladies and gentlemen, from the hysteresis loop, we can determine the number of magnetic properties which a material might have, such as its reluctance, its retentivity. However, the crucial term here being the residual flux. Well, to the ones who cannot actually recall the concept is basically somewhat like this. You have a magnetic material and you place it in a field full of magnetic, charges. What we realize is that over the course of time, the magnetic material will also start getting a field in itself. And as we increase the field around it, the magnetic flux and the charges also increase in the very material. And if I plot the very concept I just spoke right now on a graph, the graph is somewhat linear. Linear in the sense, the more the field increases, the more the flux increases. However, what if I take away the magnetic flux and the field from that material? To the surprise, you'll be actually surprised to see that the graph, which was once linear, doesn't terminate there and then. The graph still increases. There is a small part of the graph which is still there if I take all of it away. Well, that extended part is somewhat which explains the very concept of the term I named earlier, that is residual flux. Ladies and gentlemen, what you'll be actually surprised at the theory which I had just narrated to you right now is how well does it fit the entire life pattern of mine and yours? Well, the magnetic field, I take it as the people around us. The magnet is me, playing as the main character. But what about the field around it? What about the graph? I'm sorry. Well, our growth is somewhat linear to the very people that surround us. Thereby, we somewhat grow linearly based upon the very in them. And this is what I personally call as the hysteresis of memory, not as the hysteresis of magnetism. You see, in the hysteresis of magnetism, it's a constant loop. Every single time the magnet will come in a phase, every single time the loop will continue. Similarly, every single time you and I will be in a part of a relation or anything specific, it will leave an impact on us. Well, same has been my 19 years of existence. Well, as being a social butterfly, my life has also been surrounded by dozens of friends and dozens of goals. Made lots of friends. Friends who became family. Friends who became foes. Yet friends who became lovers. As being very ambitious, I made lots and tons of dreams. Dreams which were strong enough to keep me awake at night. Dreams overwhelming enough to break me down at the very, very low point of my life. Yet also dreams empowering enough to prove to me as to how strong of a girl I have become. Well, while I'm describing dreams and friends of my life, here comes the story, which I guess take some tissues with you because this might give you a cry. There was a point of a time where I, as any same teenager in the audience, made up both a dream, a place where I would feel like I had always belonged, and also a person I've always aligned my life with. So I had both a vision and a rom-com bestseller. Well, the vision was that after 4 years, I had to call myself as 𝗟𝗲𝘃𝗲𝗃𝗃 graduate who had majored in computer sciences. There used to be a time when I used to struggle badly with marks. I used to actually go to my father and used to cry that as to how am I not able to push myself to the bonus 12 questions even as well. How am I able to manage to score full and get a CS degree? And there used to be a point when this very dream of mine matched all the 3 degrees of the passion I just laid. Strong, overwhelming, yet empowering. I used to close my eyes and I used to just wonder as to I'm standing in the campus of 𝗟𝗲𝘃𝗃𝗃. I'm looking at the clock tower and I'm a student there. And that was enough to make me push myself every single day to even fetch that one extra mark I put in my exam. But what about the rom-com best-selling plot I just mentioned? Well, as much of a Netflix-ish it might sound, I happened to meet a guy when I was in 9th class. I happened to enter this jam room when everybody was practicing for a band performance. And he stands right there, singing Bryan Adams' Heaven Song. But that was just it. When I again meet him after a year in front of my Fiji classes, but again, that was it. However, the climax comes when I again meet him, like 3rd time's a charm, right? Did not work in my day, but worked this time. When I again meet him in 2020 pandemic. And that's how we became like 2 peas in a pod. Beautiful. However, but what is the sad part about it? Because if it wasn't sad, it would have been my icebreaker, right? Well, it so much turns out that at times, no matter how many eyelashes you pluck and you blow to make a wish, no matter how many dandelion seeds you pluck and you make a wish upon it, and no matter how much of your heart you tear apart and put it right on your sleeves, it still won't happen. I couldn't really crack my wits that. And it also turned out to be that he moved on with some other girl. But again, where is the climax? The climax was that this happened on the very same day. Perfect timing does exist. And that is what I personally refer to as the lowest point of my life. You see, ladies and gentlemen, when you lose your dream place, it's like a battle lost of ambitions. But when you lose your dream person, your favorite person, it's like a battle lost of memories. and you combine both of them together, and you have this tasty lowest point that ever somebody can cook for you. Ladies and gentlemen, as weird as it would sound, but my greatest love stories have never been platonic. I wish that love had also applied to, my greatest love stories have never been romantic, I'm sorry. I actually wish love had applied to platonic relationships as well, because trust me, I have fallen in love every single time I see my friend ordering the very same food as the new I liked for me. I have fallen in love every single time I come home and I see my mom cooking food for me. I have fallen in love every single time a person remembers every small detail of it. And I have fallen in love with the soul every single time I see this old lady park dot, I see some waves at me, hello beta, as I enter the park. Sorry for romanticizing the mundane. However, this is what keeps me going. Well, now coming back to 28th November 2021. It was the showcase meeting. I very well remember Toastmaster 𝗟𝗲𝘃𝗲𝗹 was the TMOD, and he also held the meeting's name as Somewhere I Belong. It was a meeting where he tried elaborating the fact as to how life can be described as this roller coaster between suffering and small moments of stability. And that session was empowering enough to make me realize and to make me trace back every single point of my life. And here I am giving also a speech known as Somewhere I Belong. So what is this place I belong to? Well, the place where I belong to is actually a place where people don't consider love as birthday cakes. However, people give away love as, I'd rather say, recklessly and casually. When people don't reserve phrases like, let me take care of you, or you are a good friend to me, and anything of any sorts, only reserved for special occasions to be topped with icing and birthday candles. No, it is supposed to be given out recklessly and casually. Somewhere I Belong is a place where, yes, birthday cakes are the best when served at midnight, but love is the best when spread recklessly and casually. Thank you so much.